YouTube, God bless you. Prayerfully, this video finds you quite well this morning. You saw the title, Don't Contaminate the Crime Scene. Yes, it sounds like a CSI movie or 2020 or Unsolved Mystery or Cold Cases. It sounds like a show like that, right? But yes, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but we also are going to parallel this with the spiritual world in terms of don't contaminate the crime scene. Let's get into it. Genesis 4:10, it teaches us that, you remember the story Cain and Abel. Y'all know the story and how Cain killed his brother Abel. I'm just going to paraphrase it. If you want to reference it, it's in Genesis, the 4th chapter. But to make a long story short, Cain killed his brother, and God confronted Cain and asked him, "Where is your brother?" And Cain said, "Am I, thy brother's keeper?" So Cain, tried to cover it up, but God was on the crime scene. God was investigating, and he said that his brother's blood cried out from the earth, which means that Cain, you can't cover it up. You can't conceal it. I see everything. I know what you've done. Yes, I know what you've done. And one thing about it, God sees everything. We might can hide from man, but we can't hide from God. So what does contaminate the crime scene mean? It's basically corrupting or tainting the evidence, right? Because if you go and tamper with the crime scene, you might leave your fingerprints, you might leave your footprints. So you're actually, you're contaminating the scene. Investigators and law enforcement, they don't want you to come near it. They don't want you to get close to the crime. They don't even want you going in there. That's why they have those yellow barriers there, those plastic barriers, basically saying keep out or crime scene investigation, something to that effect, just to keep you out so that it cannot be contaminated. So basically, Pastor Nate, what are you saying? I am saying don't contaminate the crime scene, friend. Look, when people have wronged you, when they've come against you, when they've lied on you, God is on the case. Take your mouth off it. Take your hands off it, because you might make a mess. And when they go into the crime scene, they leave their fingerprints and their footprints trying to figure out things and trying to solve the case and trying to do the officer's job or the detective's job. They may find themselves being incriminated because their evidence is there. Oh, come on, somebody. You see what I'm talking about? So, yes, take your hands off it. Let God do it, because God can do the work way better than we can. Have you ever been in a mess or got involved in an altercation when you should have let God handle it? You should have just stepped back and prayed for your enemies. I know we don't want to seem weak. We don't seem like we're a punk. But let me tell you, that is a source of strength when you can back up and you can pray for your enemies and love them anyway, because vengeance is the Lord, and he will repay. In this instance of Cain and Abel, God was the judge and jury. Why? Because he found, and the detective and all the investigator, he was all of that. You see, God did all that in one. And in our natural life, we have different parts to come in and different agents to come in and investigate. But God was all that in one. He investigated. He found out who it was. He prosecuted him. Yes, because he cursed Cain. Yes, that was his just punishment. So God was the judge and jury. He punished Cain for it. Yes, he did. So what am I saying? God will take care of your enemies. God will take care of everybody who has wronged you. So take your hands off it. Don't involve yourself. Do not contaminate the crime scene. God is on the case. And I guarantee you, God being a just God, hear me, friend. Woo! He knows what to do. He knows what punishment to pose on your enemies. Now, I'm not praying that your enemies would be destroyed or be punished. All I'm saying is step back and let God's will be done. Do not contaminate the crime scene. God will fight your battles. God will take care of everything. Yes, he will. God will fix it, and he will solve the problem. Have you ever been in a situation? By the same token, because the other example I use is we are in a situation, we put our hands on, we put our mouth on, we feel like we have to lash back, we feel like we have to do things, and then sometimes we find ourselves making a bigger mess than it was before. And you say, gosh, I should have I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that, because sometimes we emotional, we get carried away, and, especially when we're trying to get back at someone. So let God take care of it. Be patient. I know it seems like God is on coffee break sometimes. Maybe some of you might say, God, are you on vacation? I did a video about that a few weeks ago. Go check that out. But God, he knows what time to step in and do his thing. So yes, have you ever been in a situation where somebody has done something to you and you just prayed about it and let God handle it and he fixed it? Yeah, we didn't know how he was going to fix it. And the way God fixed it, it seemed like it was impossible, but there is nothing too hard for God. He can do anything. Friend, I pray this exhortation encourage you this morning. This is just a message just basically telling you anything that's going on with you. If somebody comes against you, if they've wronged you, if they've mistreated you, you just love them and pray for them. They've created a crime scene because they came against you, God's child, and God is on the case and he will fix it. You take yourself out of it. In the meantime, in between time, be at peace and not in pieces. And don't contaminate the crime scene. Till next time, my friend.